Guys, thanks for joining. So, I just want to start first by showing what the designs from the last couple of weeks now looks like. So, this is these are some characters, some animal characters for an idea that came up in my head, and I just went on to refine it through the last couple of days, and this is what I have. So I have this rhino character, this antelope character, cheetah, gorilla, and bush baby. And then I thought about, okay, what about if we made something like some kind of story around this? And this was the idea, Mammal College. So that's the boarding school that they all go to. And I kind of want to use these characters. I want to relive some experiences vicariously through them, the experiences that I went through as a boarding school student in secondary school. And yeah, this is going to be fun, but I mean, that's not what we're working on today. I just wanted to show you the updates on what I have been able to develop so far. And in the next couple of weeks and months, what I would like to do with these guys is to just explore them a little bit further in terms of story moments, like some gags here and there, gag ideas here and there, and all of that. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with these 5 characters. And you know, who knows, I'll definitely be developing a lot more characters in this story world. So yeah, having said all that, let's jump on. Let's start with today's storyboard study. So I want to study Evangelion. I like Evangelion a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen Evangelion, but you need to. Evangelion is available on Netflix if you want to watch the entire season. There are different versions of Evangelion, but the one that I really like is the Neon Genesis, and that's what I'm studying today. The one that was done in 1995. That's what I'm studying today. So without further ado, let's go. The format is in something different. Like the format of Evangelion is, it looks like 4:3 or something. Yeah, it looks like 4:3 format, and that's like really old school stuff. So, but what I have here is not 4:3. This is like 16:9. So normally I'm supposed to have like black spaces here, but I'm just going to study it without bothering about all this corner, like these edges. Let's just keep things at the center of the frame. Yo, Mr. Oluwapelumi, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining today. I really appreciate. I hope you had a good week. So yeah, I was just talking about Evangelion, and I want to do like some studies on this. I like this diagonal effect here. It's so good. Imagine the opening shot of your film being diagonal. Like, it says a lot about what the film is going to be like eventually. So I really like this. The promise of the premises in the frame, in the shots. And then it has like this. So this is a shot of water. A camera moving above water. So I'm going to shade this thing and just keep it very simple. So this is supposed to be blue, but I don't like to use colors for storyboards. Let's just keep it very, very simple. And then we have like this reflection of light somewhere around here. It's so cool. Okay, so that's that for the first shot. And then the following shot is as we're panning above the water, we see this weird creature. So we have buildings. Actually, I prefer using a regular brush. So we have these buildings in perspective. One thing I really like about anime, especially the old anime, is how like they really paid attention to perspective. Like normally when people want to draw environments, especially in old times in the 90s, things tended to be flat, but these guys were very much aware of perspective and how things would look in camera view. So I really like that stuff. I really like that attention to detail. I'm not going to do all details of these buildings. We know we have a building here. Have a building here. And then we know we have another building here. And then we have this, what do you call it? This is like angels. So if you watched Evangelion, you know what I'm talking about. Oluwapelumi is saying, sorry, let me turn on my pop out my chat. Sorry. Okay. Oluwapelumi is saying, hi, Uzo. Hope you've had a great week. Good to see you feeling better. Yes, thank you very much. I'm much better. Last week I was not myself at all. Like last week Friday was the entire last week was a tough week for me health wise. I was going through this annoying cold. I was battling this cold. Well, yes, thank you very much. I'm much better now. So we have this angel. They call them angels in Evangelion. The reflection of the angel. Is this a reflection? I think this is more like a refraction of the angel under the water. So that's the angel under the water. And then we have, I'm gonna shade it and keep it very, very simple. I apply these techniques, by the way, when I do my own storyboard. So what you're looking at is not far from my approach to storyboarding, my actual approach. So these buildings, I'm going to make them dark to create like this to frame this shot properly. And then we have the angel in the water. You can use any brush you want to color this stuff. I just like to use this textured brush to give you that feeling of drawing with pencil. But you're free to use any color you want. Then I see this interesting color. I'm going to emphasize on this color, like in the storyboard. There's an orange, bright orange. And then that orange has a glow effect, so I'm going to put a glow effect. And then it has some sparks. that. So I'm just keeping it very simple. All right, next shot is this close-up of, it's almost like somebody taking a picture or recording the submarine, recording the angel swimming past from a submerged building, a building submerged in water. So we have again, I'm not going to spend too much time on drawing all these details. I just want to get a feeling of the framing, how the shots are framed. So this is the angel swimming underwater. You probably see this image in the slide, in the picture slides, pictures that are sliding on. This is the angel. There's a building behind the angel. Just gonna okay, and then I'm gonna color this one, try to move very fast. So we have this dark space because this is the foreground, dark space. And then this is the foreground. And then we have the background. I've never actually watched Evangelion, but I read a good chunk of the manga. This was so many years ago that I don't even remember what it was about, but I remember they had giant robots. Yes, they had giant robots. Thank God it's Friday, Charlie. Thank you. Yeah, Evangelion. So let me see if I can summarize it. The story is kind of complex, but from my own understanding about Evangelion, especially because it's been a while I watched it as well, is about a world that is tormented by angels. These creatures that look like big, huge robots, but they're not. They're like humanoids, very big, giant humanoids. And the world is plagued by those angels, and the only way to save the world is through the Evangelion. So you have these pilots, but the pilots are young people. Shinjin is the main pilot. His father was the manufacturer or the creator of Evangelion, I think. And Shinjin is his son, and he ends up being one of the main pilots of the Evangelion, and he gets to defend the city alongside a couple of other friends. There's Ayanami, there's Rei Ayanami, and there's one other person, I forget her name. And then we have like these other people, commanders. There's Katsuragi, the commander that helps with directing the team on how to fight the Evangelion, fight the angels. Sorry. So yeah, it's basically robots, giant robots fighting the angels, these humanoid beings that are plaguing or tormenting their world. Yeah, I think that's the summary. That's just the summary of what I understand. Nickname Charlie Alpha. And your namesake Charlie. Oh, so your name is Charlie as well. I didn't know your name. Oluwapelumi, your name is Charlie. Okay. So yeah, that's what I understand by Evangelion. And the story, the end of the story is just very very weird. But I mean, most anime end up end weirdly like that. So it's okay. But what I really like about Evangelion is not necessarily the story. It's more like uh, the the way the story is told. Like I really like how bold and fearless the creator was, the director, sorry, was very very fearless in the storytelling. All right, so I'm not going to waste time on this shot. This I'm going to keep moving. This is one other shot. This is the angel that is moving past this window of the building, and then a submerged building. All of this is underwater. And then the next shot is, this is the very first episode of the season one. I don't know if I'll call it season one, but the very first Evangelion, 1995. This is the first episode, the opening shots of the first episode. It was the 26th episode for that season, and it's currently on Netflix. If you want to check it out, it's currently on Netflix, so you can check it out. Then the next shot is a close-up. Let's see. This close-up, it looks funny, but I'm not going to spend time again drawing all these details. Just want to, I think this is the eye of the angel, and the angels are very 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 deadly. Okay, so again, I'm not going to spend so much time on this one. Just keep it simple like that and keep moving. But what I'm studying from this thing is how is the flow of the story, like how the story flows. That's what I'm actually studying. I know it doesn't look like I'm studying anything, but this is, I'm really paying attention to how the flow of the narrative. This is, I think these are window frames in the foreground. It's a window frame in the foreground. This side is also very dark. And then we have the angel eyes. There's also another anime that I really like, and I think I'm probably going to study. I actually like the old anime, funny enough. I don't like, I mean, there are a lot of cool stuffs, modern stuff, but I kind of like the old ones. The Angel's Egg, Gundam, all those old ones. That's Ninja Scroll, Battle Arena, Toshiden, the old ones. So my study is going to be like studying the old stuff. Alright, so the next shot is, yes, I really like this shot a lot. I like this shot because we get to see the deserted city. Yes, I really like this shot. And it has like this very eerie sound. If you actually watch the show, by the way, this show is on Netflix, so check it out. It's still on Netflix. So you have like these armored tanks in the city that are in this isolated city. So you have one armored tank, and then the cannon of the armored tank is facing out like that. You have multiple armored tanks. Man, I'm not going to draw all these details. I just want to study. So we have all this. This is another armored tank, cannon facing out like that. So you have this other one facing out like that. And then this thing that looks like a turret. I'm not gonna draw this detail. Ammo tanks, and these guys drew all these things. All these things are hand drawn, by the way. Like they actually drew all these machines. So this is another cannon, and then continues like that. So, and then you have some bushes. You have some bushes down here. Bushes, and then there's water. So the ammo, so the tanks, the ammo tanks are actually facing the water, like almost ready to shoot the angels, because those angels, I mean, the first angel is coming from under the water. So these ammo tanks are waiting to shoot. And the atmosphere is so good. Like the opening sequence of Evangelion is so good. Cowboy Bebop, yes, Cowboy Bebop's fantastic too. I'm going to study that one as well. I actually really love, this is Oluwapelumi, I actually really love the pacing of a lot of the older anime I've seen. They don't seem to rush through stuff. They let you stew in the details. I think that makes the bigger events more satisfying. Yes, they know how to they know how to create that mood and that setting. Like, they don't rush. The storytelling is not rushed. There are a lot of quiet shots, nothing happening. Like the beginning of Evangelion is like that. There's nothing happens. It's just everywhere is just quiet. But the next thing that transpires after the silence is it's contrast, right? Because that's how contrast works. If you want to really make something loud and noisy, the first thing you need to juxtapose that with silence. So when you juxtapose silence with noise, the noise seems louder. If you know what I mean. So these are the ammo, the cannons, the barrels of the ammo tanks facing out like that. Oh yeah, one more detail that I forgot to add, there's United Nations written on it. So this is United Nations. Let me write that here. So there's UN. This is an interesting detail. So UN, United Nations. This other one also has UN. Like that. So yes, United Nations trying to fight the angels. And then the next shot is a wider shot of these armor tanks. So it's just showing like this endless like this endless man, tongue twister, endless stretch of armor tanks in the horizon. So down the horizon, so you have like bush here. Oops. And this curved road, another curved road there. And then you have some submerged buildings inside the water. It's very apocalyptic type of story world. Then you have some bushes here. Okay, and then all this is water. So now you have this armored tanks. I'm not going to be able to draw every single armored tank here, but I'm going to keep it very, very simple. And all the cannons are facing out like that. And there's this endless stretch of armored tanks facing out, pointing out to the sea or to the water. Armored tanks, the cannons are facing out. And then there's more all the way up here. More armored tanks pointing to the water. So it's just a shot with an endless stretch of armored tanks. So this is like a wider shot of the previous shots just drew. Bush. Okay. So now I'm going to shade this thing real fast. And we have the water here. And then bush. More bush here, bush. And then you have all these armored tanks stretching. Actually, I'm going to use a different brush so it's clear that they're armored tanks. Armored tanks. Yeah, so these are the armored tanks. Next shot is, oh, I love the shot so much. This is one of my favorite shots. I love the shot. So the next shot is a cannon, one of the cannons of the armored tank, and then you have a bird perched on it. So this is the cannon. This shot is so beautiful. Like, I love this shot so much. So we have this cannon here, and then you have a bird perched on the cannon, and then you have the horizon in the distance. Actually, I'm going to move this one up into it, and then you have the horizon down, and then there's an explosion that happens in the background. You have clouds here, clouds, and then you have some submerged buildings, all these submerged buildings in the background. And then you have this explosion. So what actually happens, because this storyboard are still, so it doesn't really do justice to this thing, but what happens when this explosion when this explosion erupts is that the bird flies away. So the bird doesn't fly until the eruption happens here. The explosion, sorry. So when this explosion happens, then this bird flies away. And this is just a very beautiful shot because, I mean, an armor tank is the most, is the, when in use is very hot, and it's like one of the most dangerous things that you don't want to associate with. It's almost like a bird on a wire. A bird on the wire. A wire is very dangerous because electricity is flowing through it. But an innocent bird perched on a wire like that is, I don't know, it just has this irony all around it because this thing is so dangerous, but then you have this delicate creature perched on it. So that's the irony of this shot. Like, it's such a beautiful shot. I love it a lot. So I'm gonna color this real fast. I learned a lot from this film, and I use it for my own stories as well. So that's the cloud, the sky. Then you have this water down here, and all these tiny buildings immersed inside of the water, and then the explosion happens here, and you have this innocent bird in the foreground just minding his business. So this is the bird. This is probably one of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen in animation, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, I love this shot so much. I can never forget. Like, the first time I saw this thing, I was like, wow, I'm not going to forget this shot. So this is the bird perched on a cannon, and then the next shot is okay. So the next shot is nothing too serious. It's just another view of the city that is submerged. Is that the word? Submerged in water. So you have like this old decrepit building that is, and then you have like this dry tree branch, all submerged in water, These are some of the windows of the building. And windows. And the building is submerged. Then in the background, sorry, you have some more buildings. Cityscape. More buildings submerged in water. A mountain range and clouds. Alright, so this is just another simple shot. There's no point. I'm not going to waste too much time drawing all these things, all these details. As long as we get the idea. So I'm going to color this. So the mountain ranges, water, this building is here. Okay, on to the next one. And we have our next shot is, oh nice, yeah, I like this shot. So our next shot is, we have this building. Actually, you have like this railway track and moves up to the upper third of the picture, like this. Beautiful shot. Another shot here. And all these are going into the, this is the upper third of the picture. So, and this is very important because composition is so good. And then we see this character running. We have this character running here. This silhouetted character, we don't see any detail, we just see somebody running. And these are actually real railway tracks. Real railway tracks. We have a pole here. Another pole here. We have one pole here. And there's some tiny details in the background, but I'm not gonna bother too much about, because this background is kind of blurry. So actually I'm going to draw some of that and blur it out. So we're gonna draw some of those blurry backgrounds here. So that's the background, and then the foreground we have some darker elements, including the rail track. Okay, so that's that for this shot. And then the next shot is, we have two trains that are static, two trains that are not moving. So this shows that there's little or no activity or commercial activity in this story world. So we are establishing that the story world is in bad shape. We have these train tracks here. We have one train. So this is one train. And then you have another train. Okay, I just done like a duplicate of this one and mirrored it to save time, but you have another train. Okay, so yeah, I'm only gonna do too much details here, but so this is a grounded station. There's no activities are being halted. Nothing happening here. Empty. Grounded to a halt. Activities grounded to a halt. So we have this guy. Shaded. The train shaded. Yeah, something like this. Alright, so that's that for that shot. And then the next shots we have, yeah, we had like this pan, horizontal pan across the empty station to show that it's actually empty. Perspective. You have this train that is not moving. Platform. You have some blurred out things in the background. Okay, so nothing serious again. Okay, so I've drawn some more details in this train. Let me do that. Okay. Okay, so we have this train here, the platform here. Okay, and then next shot is also another shot that establishes that the city is not in motion, or that the city is not, all the activities in the city are grounded, so grounded to a halt. We have this thing that looks like an itinerary screen. Train itinerary screen for trains, and it's empty. It has red lights on. So there's a couple of things on it that are written in Japanese that I cannot replicate, but we have like, I don't know how to write Japanese, but you get the idea. And then all these lights are red, 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 red. So I mean, it doesn't say, I don't understand Japanese, but I know what this is telling me. Like, without understanding the language, I understand what this shot means. It means that there's no train, there's no movement of trains. Like, the trains are not ready to move. Okay, I made a mistake here. Cut, paste. Alright, so I'm gonna shade this one real quick. Let me shade it this way. Right, so back to this board, I'm going to make some. Actually, let's use a regular brush. This stuff is actually in white, so I'm going to make it white. Okay, internet is acting up. So, man, the internet in Nigeria, we need to do something about our internet because I've tried a lot of internet, and this one is supposed to be like the most reliable, but yet still getting this. All right, then I'm going to round up at this point because I cannot afford to disappoint you guys with bad internet. So I'm just going to analyze this page and then I'll be done. I mean, I've actually ended up doing an hour, so which is not bad also. So yeah, so diagonal, the first shot diagonal, this one horizontal, this one vertical, the second one, the third one is horizontal movement, then a close-up of that horizontal movement, and then we see like diagonals here. It's not very obvious, it looks more like horizontals anyway, so I'm just gonna say this is like a horizontal, and this one is a wide shot, aerial shot, very wide. Let me just call this a wide shot. And then we have this very interesting shots, my favorite shots of them all. I really like how this is, it kind of looks like diagonal, but it's not. To me it feels like a horizontal shot because the interaction is between the bird and this thing in this explosion in the background, so everything just kind of feels horizontal, plus the horizon too is also horizontal, like it just feels like a horizontal shot. Then this is a vertical horizontal pan shots, so this is kind of also horizontal as well. This one is kind of forced perspective, so it's a perspective shot, or I mean there's nothing like perspective shot, but I like the perspective in this shot a lot. I like how the rule of thirds, you can see the thirds, you can see the thirds, because if you split this image into three, you can see that this is happening at this point. So that's a very, very intentional shot, like very well composed. Then this one is smack in the middle, like this is a very symmetrical shot. So you see that he's Hideaki Anno, that's the director of Evangelion, Hideaki Anno. He was really thinking about every single shot. Like it's almost unpredictable. Like, yeah, apart from the fact that this is horizontal, this is horizontal, this is horizontal, it's sort of everything else is unpredictable. Even the horizontal shots are not very predictable because this one is static, this one is static, this one is pan, this one is panning across. So yeah, it's not really predictable. It's very well composed, and also the emotion that the guy was aiming for, which I understand is which from what I understand about the story, at least from this episode, is that he was trying to first of all show that there's this looming threat in the story world. He wanted to establish a looming threat, and he succeeded in doing that by showing the fact that the city is grounded and there's no activity. Like you can see that the train, like the what do you call this, itinerary board and the train station is all red, and this is I'll say this is a vertical shot. It kind of looks diagonal. Yeah, I think I'll call this a diagonal shot. It looks vertical, but I'll call it diagonal. This one is also horizontal as well because he's panning across. So this is one of the things about studying, and studying is really important, because you start to see, and you start to see people's choices, and then also you see what can be improved upon. This is not me saying that Hideaki Anno's choices were bad at all. It's his choice. But to be honest, if I was going to board this part, I would think of something different. Like, I wouldn't do a horizontal pan here and another horizontal pan here. I'll try something different. I wouldn't make this choice. So yeah, there's a lot of horizontals from what I see. There's horizontal here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a lot of horizontals. So I would have tried something different. Yeah, that the whole idea of this thing is just to study people's stuff and see what you do differently and learn what you learn, what I can take from this. Yeah, I've taken a lot. And then also I like how you have like this close-up shots. So the type of shots are changing. You have a close-up here, you have a wide here, you have a close-up here, you have an extreme close-up here, extreme close-up, ECU, you have a close-up here, you have a wide here. Actually, I'm going to call this extreme wide because the tanks are really small, so I'll call this an extreme wide shot. We have a close-up shot here. This is a close-up. We have a wide shot here. You have a wide shot here as well. You have a wide shot, another wide shot, and a close-up. So you see that he was mostly using, I mean, he was kind of using similar. I think this is more like a medium shot. This one should be a medium shot. So it's not a close-up. This is a medium. Yeah, so his shot choices are somewhat predictable, but not because it's wrong. It's his choice. But what's interesting is that I think I understand why he made these choices, because he was trying to establish the story world. So these are establishing shots. The opening sequence or sequence of images in Evangelion are they were designed to establish the story world. So when you're establishing story world, you want to show a lot of wides, you want to show how you want to capture a lot of things. So this kind of explains why his shots are wide, a lot of wide shots. But then for the angels, we have like medium shots and close-ups, which makes sense, because close-up shots are usually used when you want to show detail or you want to establish something in proximity, like at eye level proximity. So the angel is very important. Like he needed to establish the angels, and that's what these 3 shots are for, to establish the angels. So, and he did that fantastically well, because we have this medium shots here, and then you have these close-up shots of the angel. And then also I like this, like I said, he established the looming threats of the story world. But then also I really like this shot as well, because this guy was running in this shot, and it just goes to show that there's something really happening. Like, this also emphasizes the looming threat, somebody running away in these wide shots. Yeah, it's fantastic. Like, I've learned a lot from this. I think that's really what the purpose of study is, and I'll try to do more of this stuff often. Yeah, I do some of these things on my own. I don't like usually come out, like put it out there. But if this is something that you guys don't mind. I will be doing more of this stuff. So yeah, this is Idiakianu's Evangelion storyboard study. I will do more studies of this. I don't know if I'll do this next week, but I'll do more of this stuff. And I'm sure you're probably expecting action sequences. Let me just say this first and foremost, that I am not a very action guy. Not because I hate action, but because I think that action without purpose is what I don't like. I don't like where I feel like we'll just be preaching to ourselves as guys, basically, because we kind of like action. That's not to say women don't like action, but we grew up with fighting games, video games, and all, and there's this fantasy that I've always had for us, while growing up, about fighting as guys. I don't know if I can speak for all guys, but let me speak for myself. So we have this fantasy for fighting, and fighting feels cool to us. So I can understand why a lot of guys like fighting, and when you see when you have an opportunity to study, you'd want to go straight, like beeline straight to the fighting thing. But for me, I'm not a fighting head, because I think that story is much more. It encompasses a lot more besides fighting. It encompasses a lot more. So I like to see things from 10,000 feet eye level. Aerial view, and when I look at it, the whole big picture, fighting is just one part of it, and the emotional journey, is also the other part that also needs to be covered as well. And to me, I think that fighting makes more sense when there are emotions tied to it, like when you've already established the emotional arcs before the fight. It just makes the fight more gritty, and more interesting to watch, like, because people are not just fighting to win, they're fighting because it means something internally to them. I think that, honestly, the intrinsic value of storytelling lies in the internal struggle or the internal conflict that a character has, and I'm more inclined to explore that angle, the internal angle of a character, more than the external angle, because and that's what I mean by not being a fight head. Fighting is very external, but what makes somebody fight, to me, is more interesting than the fight itself. So but that doesn't mean that I would not study, that like I wouldn't spend some time to do like fight sequences and all. But again, like I said, I like to look at everything, like the fights, the high moments, the low moments, the pauses, the high pace, the fast pace action, and all. I look at everything. I don't look at only fights. So at this point, I would like to end the stream. I really appreciate you guys for showing up. This is my 48th stream, I think. I've been doing this for 48 weeks now, so I will catch you guys next week, same time, 5 p.m. West African time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, and 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great weekend. Peace.